I'm live. Am I live? We're telling you. I'm live. Okay. Hoping my Wi-Fi works. Hi, Talbot. Hi, Annette. Aww. It's Friday and I've got a really sore throat. All night I had a really sore throat, like glass was in my throat. There's a bug going around. What can I do for sore throats? Hi everyone, nice to see you. Just waiting for Zana to join us. We're going to be talking about the supplements, the strong nutrient supplements that I've been on. And just find out some more info because supplements is a minefield. I think you'd all agree. Is it worth taking them or not? Let me see, hold on a minute. Oh, here we go. I'll take my trainers off because I'm suddenly having a bit of a hot flush. Right, Zana should be joining us any second. Hold on a minute, I've accepted her. Hi, Zan.
Hello.
You okay?
Oh, it is good. How are you?
Good. I've got 4G. You've got Wi-Fi.
Oh, I've got good Wi-Fi today.
I've had dreadful Wi-Fi. Oh, I know you had to pull out that last one because of Wi-Fi. My whole street has had terrible Wi-Fi problems all week.
It's the weather. It's bizarre. I've had to move. It's actually, quite frankly, I've moved to a lovely Regis to ensure I had the Wi-Fi.
You've literally moved house.
Literally, because it was just once that weather changed,
the
Wi-Fi went with it.
The country falls apart. It's like the train lines.
Brilliant.
The whole country falls apart as soon as we get some rain. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're not exactly the country that doesn't have rain.
Exactly. Yeah. Very frustrated. Anyway, so we're going to be talking supplements today, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
I've got my three favourites here. But I've also got my other two that I take. But I kind of take these and I don't really know why I'm taking them. Oh, you've stilted. Oh no, is that me? Zan, have I lost you? Can anyone see me? Is it Zana it's gone or is it me? Let me see. Julie Sharp, can you let me know? Is it me or is it Zana that's... Hold on. What's happening? Is it me or is it Zana that's... Zana's gone. I'll talk about bloody... Oh, there she is.
I'm back. Honestly, you never ever say things like that.
No, never again.
Just let's not say anything. Let's get to the end.
Zip it. I was just saying, Zan, that so I've got my 3 supplements that you put me on that, you know, I take religiously before my meals and everything. And then I've got these 2 that I take, but I don't really know why I'm taking them.
Right. So we've got the Amino Slim and the Creatine.
Amino Slim and the Creatine.
Purified. Oh. Do you know creatine now, as I've got this lovely team that look up what gets searched on the internet. I say this slightly tongue in cheek, but it's not far from the truth. It's almost got more searches than Viagra.
Really? Creatine?
Now, I'm not saying it does what it does. But
no.
Just to be clear, it's got so hugely popular. Creatine, I think, is extraordinary. It's part of a protein, and we get it in fish and meat naturally. So 100 grams, like your 100 grams salmon fillet has about 3.5 grams of creatine naturally in it. And in the early days, we used to recommend creatine solely, exclusively, because you trained better, your stamina was better, your recovery was better, you had more staying power.
Right.
And more and more, the research is showing how good it is for the brain functioning, for memory, recall, particularly as we get older, particularly going through menopause, because estrogen levels drop, and apparently our bodies rely on this thing they call ATP, which are energy molecules, which our brains use. So it was originally at the very beginning just professional athletes that used it, but now more and more they're recognizing the benefits for all people as we get older, everybody as we get older, protecting the lean body mass. And the older we are, almost the more benefit we get from it, and also the brain. And vegans and vegetarians get the biggest impact, I think, from it, because the main sources naturally are fish and meat.
Right,
So,
okay. And this is powder form. So
yes.
I put this in water and I take it before I go to the gym.
Yes.
And that's the right thing to do.
That's the perfect thing to do. You take a teaspoon. Now you can do this loading phase, but you don't need to worry about that too much.
Okay.
If people are doing a lot of exercise, then twice a day for 5 days, and then down to once a day. A teaspoon in water, in warm tea or coffee. It doesn't taste like much. It just doesn't dissolve very well in water. It's just a bit grainy. But you can put it into yogurt or a protein shake.
Okay, right. And it doesn't kind of matter what time of day then you take that, really?
No,
does it?
It's some people take it for training because they find they train better immediately having taken it. The latest research is suggesting that after the training has the most benefit. Ultimately, though, the cells store it. So if you took it every day, same time of day, well away from the training, your body's still going to get the benefit, because it's not that it's in and out, it's that the cells use it up, and then those cells use it to create this ATP. So they'll hold it. So it doesn't really matter.
And
it doesn't really matter.
Somebody asked me if her teen son could take this.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So it's good for neurological.
It's good
muscle
for neurological
strength.
And for the muscle strength, and particularly if they're doing training. Oh my goodness. And years ago there was obviously the concern, this was one of the few supplements, I mean purely food, natural based supplements. There's nothing, it's not even a herb, it's literally what you get in food. And it was one of the few that had such a dramatic difference on people when they trained that they tried to ban it, but then they realized they couldn't ban it, because if somebody had lots of meat or lots of fish, they had lots of creatine naturally. So it was the exact same thing.
Wow, that's interesting.
It has a very distinct difference. They always are worried about things that actually do make a difference. And creatine is a food.
Yeah.
We get it naturally. We produce a small amount. We produce about 2 grams a day. But when you supplement it, you just make sure your body has enough at all times.
Yeah, because this is 5 grams, isn't it? 5 grams.
Yeah, for a teaspoon. Yes.
Yeah. So like when people say, can you get the same from food? You'd have to eat a lot of meat to make the same amount, wouldn't you?
Exactly. They say we should have between 10 to 20 grams a day. So if you think we're producing about 2 grams, you get about 3.5 grams in 100 grams of salmon.
Right.
So just to put in perspective.
Yeah.
So now for you to get your 10 grams, you're going to want to get at least, you've got to have we probably want at least 250 grams of salmon minimum every day just to get the 10 grams.
Yeah.
To try and get 20 grams, you're going to be eating a lot.
Lots. Okay.
And particularly, it only takes a day where you're going more vegetarian or vegan and you're not getting any.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then every time you train, you use up your stores. So it's hard to do it. It's possible, but it's harder.
Yeah. Right, and tell me about the Amino Slim.
Amino Slim.
I tell you what, because I've read I read the instructions, and this one's have it before, like 2 hours after eating, before bed. Problem is my last meal is about 8 o'clock, and I go to bed about 9:30. So there's never that window. So when else can I take it?
Get that. Great question. Great question. Because that's where most of them come undone.
Yeah.
Right. So let's start with what it is, and then let's go with how you take it. So Amino Slim, it's a single amino acid. So again, amino acids are part of protein. You'll get this L-ornithine, which is the main ingredient in an egg. So you're getting it throughout the day. But when you take amino acids all away from each other, they all have a different impact. So you have everything from tryptophan to arginine. You'll have heard of all these things, lysine, and they help everything from cold sores to neurotransmitters. So you name it. Each amino acid has a slightly different impact. And L-ornithine, which is the main ingredient in this, it basically encourages or supports the natural process that occurs both when you sleep, hence taking it before bed, or before you do training. There's a natural hormonal reset, if you like. The body naturally releases growth hormone. Insulin steadies, and that's where when you help stabilize insulin, you naturally lose belly fat more easily.
Yeah.
It's getting in behind that process, so you lose fat faster, you firm up faster.
Right. So I could take that in the morning then, because I fast. So I can take that in the morning before I go to the gym.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
got you.
The fasting bit on that is, as I'm always saying, a fussy supplement. It's not like the creatine. Creatine you can take anytime with anything you like on an empty stomach, doesn't matter. The Amino Slim you need to take away from food.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I was cheated. I thought, oh, I'll do a double whammy. I'll put them both in the one glass of water, but you said no, because that one won't work. So it is a fussy supplement.
It's
right.
a fussy supplement.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, if it has company, it absorbs with the company, and it doesn't do, and that's the same for most amino acids. Yeah. When they're together, they're just part of the protein. They'll have other benefits, but not the specific one. They have a little sort of reaction, each of them, when you take them separately.
Okay.
On the body sort of mechanisms, if you like.
Brilliant. That's good to know. Right. One of my favourite vitamins, and before I met you, I was also taking this for lots of different reasons. And it, you know, I've got such an interest in nutrition, and it's a vitamin that most women lack, and it's magnesium, isn't it?
Yes, yes, particularly when we get to a certain age. Yes.
So tell me about magnesium.
Magnesium, I'm always saying this. When I first studied magnesium, I think it was involved in 400 processes in the body, and now it's apparently involved in 600. Really? I don't think it's up by 200. I think they're just discovering, obviously, more and more things it does. The top line ones are, it helps with the regulation of melatonin. So that's the hormone that helps us sleep. It helps the body deal with and reduce cortisol levels. That's the hormone that keeps us awake, quite frankly. It seems to help with the body's blood sugar levels, to help normalize them, which is great news if, quite frankly, you're trying to lose fat, particularly around the belly, if you're trying to stabilize insulin. And indirectly, that can have an impact on cravings too. So anything that stabilizes that will help. Big one is it helps the utilization of your calcium, which when estrogen levels drop, that's when we don't utilize the calcium. We always hear of in midlife with women in particular that there can be the issues with bones if we're not careful. So the magnesium is imperative for helping the body utilize its calcium and has a big impact on that.
And restless legs.
And restless legs.
When I don't take magnesium, I get restless legs. It keeps me awake most of the night.
If you get restless legs, cramps is a very good sign that your magnesium is low. Magnesium helps muscles relax. It's why we do magnesium salt baths, because it helps the muscle relax. Calcium helps it contract, and the magnesium helps it relax, because muscles need to contract and relax, basically. That's how they work. And that's why it's so good for the heart as well. It helps the heart rhythm and helps it stay steady. So really good for the heart as well. So
these are tablet for vitamin forms, and I take two before my meals, and then I take a couple at bedtime.
Yes. Now,
why do I need to take it? Yeah, why do I need to take it before the meals? Is it for the insulin and everything?
It's now for you. It's because most people take it before bed. Again, because it can be so useful for the cortisol, blood sugar levels, helping you sleep. Exactly. Now, magnesium, because it helps muscle relax, can make a big difference, particularly if you're low in it. It makes a big difference to preventing constipation and keeping you regular.
Yes.
And it can help to take before meals to keep you regular, to keep the digestion moving. This is a little hack, if you like, that's really worth knowing that a lot of people don't realize, and that is our calcium-rich products. So your cheese, your cottage cheese, your yogurt, those products, anything high in calcium, can cause constipation. It can bind. Exactly, because it causes the muscle to contract, so it can bind, and that's what can cause the restless legs too. It can cause it.
That's right.
And the magnesium helps it all relax, so counteracts it. So if you've more calcium in the diet, then you want a bit more magnesium to get use of it and sort of balance it out, if you like.
Okay.
So in your case, and I would recommend this to anyone, and you don't have to even do it long term. Sometimes it's enough to do it just for a little while to get the momentum back. It works super well before meals, just to keep everything regular. And keep the digestion moving.
Brilliant. Right, next one is the krill oil, Antarctic krill oil. I mean, for brain and joint health. I mean, I've always throughout my life taken like a fish oil of some sort, and you know, some have not been very good. Only sort of when I started reading more into it, you've got to be so fussy about which supplements you're going to take, you know.
You do want to keep a bit of an eye on it, in the sense of the source, the freshness, all of that does play a role. And listen, I'm for any good fish oil. Not exclusively Antarctic krill. I think there's lots of good EPA, DHA is that, and I really do. I love Antarctic krill because it naturally has astaxanthin in it, and astaxanthin is a really strong antioxidant. So if you look at flamingos, the reason they're pink is because they eat so much of those little crustaceans, those little type of krill. They're pink. if you look at the krill oil, it's pink.
Yeah.
It's got that reddish pinkish color, and that's the astaxanthin. And there's some studies that claim it's about 700 times more potent than vitamin C, as in it's a really strong antioxidant. So you have all the anti-inflammatory, antioxidant effects of the astaxanthin. It, though, also seems to prevent the krill oil itself from going off, because all oils can oxidize.
Yes, yeah.
That's them going off.
Yeah.
And an antioxidant prevents them from oxidizing. So it protects them. And I find with the krill, it just doesn't repeat. I've had fish oils. I mean, I've been taking fish oil since I was about this high. My mum was feeding me once when we were about 8. I was getting my teaspoon or my dessert spoon of cod liver oil.
Yeah.
But all of them had that fishy aftertaste. And even the best ones in my adulthood, I'd always get that repeating. Yeah. Whereas the Antarctic, you just don't get it.
No, you don't. No. And they're really small. So they're really, I mean, they're tiny. So
yeah,
they
and
go
you can
down
see how they're red. They're sort of pinky red. Yes.
Yeah, so they go down really easily. And then the next one is chill pill. It's definitely chilled me out a bit. So tell us what's in it.
I'll tell you what's in it. So chill pill, I mean, if I'm going to actually just go sidetrack a bit and come back to chill pill, the main reason I set up Strong Nutrients was because there was a handful of supplements that I couldn't find regularly enough that I really found made a difference when I was working with clients. And then there was a handful of supplements that I thought made a huge difference. So my background, for anyone who doesn't know me, I was working in a health store. I think it was a little blip. So I was working in health stores from my late teens, early 20s, and trained as a nutritionist quite early on. And there were supplements we used to recommend that made a big difference. And I found over the years they weren't always being, I thought, recommended enough, right, because of just the difference. And chill pill was one of them, and it was one of the first and main ones I wanted to bring into Strong. The primary ingredient is vitamin B5, pantothenic acid, calcium pantothenate, vitamin B5. You get small amounts in B complexes, so it's not like it's an unusual supplement. What's unusual is we're giving you a good, dare I say, strong dose of it, if you will. Right. B5, so when I said it's from calcium pantothenate, pantothenic acid, that panto bit means it's everywhere. In Greek, that means everywhere. In other words, it's involved in so many processes, and you find it in so many foods. And back to your first question is, can we not get these things in food? It is in so many foods. Right. The trouble is, the minute you cook it, you tend to lose it. It gets damaged. Yeah. So we're not getting it out of the foods in the way we should. Yeah. Exactly. So we used to call it the happy vitamin. It does affect mood, doesn't it? Yes. Yeah. Mood goes up, energy tends to go up, sleep improves. I find it phenomenal. I find it even better than magnesium for sleep. You relax better, you sleep better, mood goes up, energy goes up. As I said, we used to call it the happy vitamin. When I studied nutrition, it was the happy vitamin. Yeah. All it's doing is helping your adrenals, and your adrenals are the glands they're these little glands that sit in your kidneys that produce your stress hormones and
fight or flight.
Your fight or flight, so your cortisol, your adrenaline, and they also produce almost half of our steroid hormones, our estrogen, our progesterone, and our testosterone. And I don't think they get spoken about enough, quite frankly.
No.
If they're under par, it'll affect so many things from sleep to mood. And when you give them almost like a boost, for want of a better word, it has that knock-on effect.
So these are like an adrenal support vitamin then, because years ago when I was at a time in my life when I was very stressed out, a nutritionist did recommend that I needed adrenal support and gave me some for my adrenals. And I really looked into the adrenals. There's the glands that we really need to look after, aren't they? You know.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Are you kidding? And the thing is, we live in a world now where we didn't evolve to live this way. If that makes sense. Those adrenals, and we've heard this before, but those adrenals are designed for that fight or run. Yeah. So they're designed for the danger to come in, you react, to slow down, deal with it, and then to go away. And we live in this world where it's just constant. It's like this constant worrying. We're driving off first or second gear all the time, day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out. Yeah. And it just puts that body under that pressure. Yeah. And it does have a knock-on effect on mood. It has a knock-on effect on sleep. It has a knock-on effect on energy. Yeah. these
I
have
mean,
a
I
big impact on that.
I can remember. It was at a time where I felt like I got kind of critical fatigue at the same time, and it was definitely because I was emotionally stressed out. And I can remember sleeping for hours, yet waking up and having the biggest, blackest bags under my eyes. It was like my body could not get enough sleep.
It couldn't recover.
It couldn't recover. So I had to have some sort of supplement to help them. It was like they were crying out to look after me.
And the thing is with stress and mood, I mean, gosh, I'm a huge believer in everything from mindfulness and how we think and what we focus on. I totally believe in that. But if your adrenals are under par, or if your hormones are out of kilter, quite frankly, they will, they will sort of drive you, if you like. So you can, it makes positive thinking, and I'm putting that in inverted commas, but it makes that much harder. It's sort of they're pulling you down. And if you can get them lifted, you just feel more yourself. And suddenly 100%. All of that becomes so much easier.
Is there anybody that wouldn't be able to take these?
I'm going to gently, I'm going to say in about 98% of the cases, no, pretty much everyone can, even those on medications. However, I will say for everybody, if ever you're on medication, it's always worth just running it by your doctor. But they're extraordinarily mild. And I say cautiously, in cases, believe it or not, of childhood asthma, they can be hugely helpful. They're very good for immune support too. And they seem to have a big knock-on effect. Now, they mightn't take the adult dose. And I would say, please, either if you're thinking about a child, please contact me. You'll get me through the website, so the direct messages of that. So talk to a professional before you just give them to children. But they are extraordinarily mild. They're just vitamin B5. And in cases where people are on antidepressants, they can normally take them no problem at all. I'm just going to say, please do, though, just talk to professionals. If there's medicines involved as well, it's always worth with anything you're adding in.
So out of the five that we've just spoke about, like if somebody wants to go onto the website now and say, well, I want to pick me up, I want to feel a bit better in myself, I want to do something good, which ones could they straight away order without any worries,
Oh, to be honest, now, let's say pregnancy, first 3 months, the general recommendation is don't take anything for the first 3 months apart from the obvious folic acids. They tend to encourage the EPA, DHA, so the Antarctic will be fine. We've got a protein shake in there that works super well. But apart from that, and if you're on medications, regardless, I would check. That said, creatine's just a food. It's just a food. The B5 is extraordinarily mild. Magnesium, extraordinarily mild. And these are all things that are very, very mild and gentle on the system. If you take too much B5 or too much magnesium, you'll end up on the loo. It'll just kind of flush through you.
It'd be quite obvious you're taking too much.
Yes, exactly. Your body will just get rid of it. I say within reason. Don't go with crazy amounts, please, but you get the idea. What else? The Amino Slim. Now, Amino Slim, quite frankly, the main thing we tend to ask people to check is if they've got high blood pressure. And indirectly, it can help bring the blood pressure down, clearly, because the fat's dropping, and that helps. But again, it falls in the bracket of just check with your doctors if you're on medications. And which else did we mention there? With the creatine, the magnesium, the chill pill, and the Antarctic krill is just fish oil. To be honest, if you ate lots of good salmon or lots of good krill, you're getting it. This is just a way to get the pure version and top it up.
Easier, okay, brilliant.
Exactly.
Amazing. And we've got a discount code for 12% off, so I'll put that up in the link when we do that. So thanks for that. There's two more questions I wanted to ask you that some friends have asked me to ask you. One is, you know the high fat diet that you suggest and that I've been on. Can you weave in and out of that? Like, what's the minimum amount of days you can be on that? And then do you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
Right. In my experience with it, 8 days is the minimum that people tend to keep off what they've lost. So if they jump into it for 3 or 4 days, it's like a quick fix, but they do it doesn't tend to stay off, if that makes sense. Whereas, so I found the minimum for the long-term impact was 8 days, which is why I hold clients on it for 8 days. 7 days you might get away with, but I found less than that, it didn't have the long-term impact. So that's the first half of that question. The second half is you can absolutely go on and off it.
Right.
However, this is the big however, and I pause.
Yeah.
I pause. The main thing is that you do actually go properly on it and properly off it. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't get caught in the middle. And my big concern is clients, it's a bit like half on, half off a train, and they don't quite know whether they're falling on or off. Because you don't want to end up mulching all that fat and carbohydrate. Yeah. That's when you end up with problems. If you take the fat out, you get away with the carbohydrate more. If you put the fat in, you kind of need to get the carbohydrate out. Yeah. And the two together won't work well. Okay. So if you do it 100%, no problem at all. You can come on and off it as often as you like. But when you come off it, don't keep the cream in the coffee. Don't keep the cream cheese on the side.
And the avocado.
Do that.
Don't say cream
You've got to reduce
cheese
them
to me. I can't hear that word anymore.
That I can appreciate. But you've got to make up your mind. You can have a little bit of fats, normal. Yeah. Don't go. That is called a high fat diet for a reason. It's high fat. Yeah. Okay. So cool. Yes, come off.
And then the second question I want to ask you is: if somebody's got high cholesterol, should they be buying foods that are high fat food? You know, like so the Greek yogurt. Should they get full fat Greek yogurt or low fat?
Right. That's a brilliant question. Now, you've got LDL and HDL cholesterol. Now, I have to be very clear here. I'm not a doctor, I'm a nutritionist. So I'm going to give you my lowdown. Medical advice is obviously where you go ultimately, but this is it from my side. You've got good cholesterol, HDL, and the not so good cholesterol, the LDL. And as a rule, so cholesterol makes your hormones. Right. We need to be clear on that because we can see cholesterol as a blanket. It's the bad guy. It's not. If your whole cholesterol levels go down too low, you can end up in problems from a hormonal point of view because your body can't make them. Right. So you need some. Okay. And they used to look at the number overall. So how much LDL and HDL together, and then it was a panic if it was too high. Now they're looking at it that if the HDL is high and the LDL is low, you're fine. So it's almost the ratio. It's the gap between the two. So first question you have to check is the LDL too high, or is it just that you've got high HDL and low LDL? In which case, you're probably fine. In fact, you might even be healthier than some because you've got the cholesterol there to make up those hormones and carry you through, whether it's perimenopause, menopause, and anything else. Very helpful. And as I said, please double check some of these things I'm saying because I don't know the individual cases, obviously. Yeah, cool. But that's the overview. Now, if the LDL is too high, you do need to get it down. Yeah. So I would in that case recommend one of two approaches. A strict high fat diet, as kind of the book as such, does work in helping get LDL low. But strict being the operative word there. If you mess on it, it'll go up. Right. So if you don't think you can do it strictly, don't do it. Got you. Otherwise, I would go low fat for a period. Low fat, right. I would go low fat. Okay. And that's slightly safer because a little bit of fat here and there is not going to be a problem. I'm not saying zero fat, but I wouldn't go, for example, full fat Greek yogurt. I'd go the 0 or the 2%. Then. And I'd keep, generally speaking, towards a lower fat way of eating. Supplements like plant sterols are useful. I found there's a supplement, choline and inositol, we used to think was quite helpful, which is part of the B vitamins. And those kind of things can be helpful in the mix as well. Right. Actually, the Antarctic Krill is supposed to be helpful too. So there's. Yeah, I was going to say. So which ones from your brand would help? The Antarctic Krill is supposed to be helpful. It's supposed to be helpful. Okay. That one is. That one is. Oh, brilliant. Yes, and actually, so is the vitamin B5. The chill pill. The chill pill. Yeah. Okay. That helps with the breakdown of foods and helps with the release of energy from food. So it can be quite useful for energy and digestion as well. Your chill pill. Right. Okay. Brilliant. Right. As an aside. Excellent. That's two really good questions. They're great questions. People have asked me, so brilliant. Well, thanks, Zan. That's really good. I'll put up the discount code, and any questions, just ask us, and we'll answer. Yes, and people can direct message either of us. But brilliant. Oh, thank you very much. And I'm glad the Wi-Fi works. Yay! Yes. All right, well, take care, and I'll speak to you soon. You will indeed. You take care, Donna. Bye, lovely. Bye. See ya. Thank you. Bye-bye.